Linda, we've got a new paper out from you today, an analysis on China's new leaders and their foreign policy dilemma. What is the actual dilemma?
Well, China has several pressing foreign policy challenges. Has to maintain a good relationship with the United States, has to defuse tensions with Japan, with several Southeast Asian countries over various islands disputes, has to find a way to manage relations with North Korea. But actually, foreign policy challenges is not the biggest worry of the Chinese leadership. It's domestic problems, and they're going to have to really devote time and energy to these domestic problems, and that means that foreign policy is not going to be a priority.
Yeah. So Linda, tell me, what does this mean for the outside world?
I think it means that China's foreign policy is mostly going to be reactive. It's going to be driven by events, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because inattention by the senior leadership in China to, for example, the islands disputes is really a recipe for disaster. If there's an incident at sea, if two airplanes crash over the disputed islands in the East China Sea, things can very quickly spin out of control. And in that situation, because of the nationalist sentiment in both countries, a leader has really very little room to maneuver, to find a solution, to defuse the tensions.
So Linda, on that point, how serious is the situation in the East China Sea?
I think at the moment there's a real risk of a serious incident occurring, especially since China and Japan have started to scramble fighter jet planes over the disputed territories. If you recall, back in 2004, there was something called the EP-3 incident. An American reconnaissance plane crashed with a Chinese fighter jet, and it caused a really serious crisis between the United States and China. I think a similar China-Japan crisis could be looming. Having said that, I do think that the new Chinese top leader, Mr. Xi Jinping, will do his very best to defuse tensions with Japan. I say that because economic growth at the moment is the most important for China, and Xi Jinping wants to see a robust economy. China is very reliant on foreign trade. Economic relations with Japan are important, so is Japanese investment. Japan or Japanese companies employ millions of Chinese people. So he's going to find a way, I think, to diffuse these tensions. And there's already been a slight hint of that. He said to an envoy of the new Japanese Prime Minister that we have to look at the big picture after all.
Well, Linda, thanks for chatting with me today about it. It's a fascinating paper and I'm sure it's going to get a lot of interest.
Thanks.